The Fuel Up First program started when we were doing some neighborhood revitalization, and the big thing they talked about was a lot of juvenile problems. And we looked at juvenile crime statistics, and we saw that Mondays were the day of the week that most juveniles were going to get arrested, and a lot of times before lunch. And so I was talking to the assistant chief, Al Tunks, and he said, well, they're hungry. And I thought, oh my God, you know, that's so simple, but you're so right. That's exactly what the problem is. And we also, through this planning process, we found out that the average income of the people that are in the neighborhoods right around East High for the family is $20,803 a year. So there's no way that these kids are getting enough food over the weekend. So when they come back to school on Monday, we thought, well, you know what? Why don't we feed them breakfast on Mondays?
Fuel Up First is a partnership between East High School, the Des Moines Police Department, and several other community partners that exists to provide students with a hot breakfast on Monday morning.
When we first started, we had no idea really how we were going to make it work. And initially we were serving the students outside, and we were actually across the street. And the kids weren't walking past us, and they weren't going out of their way. There was a stigma, and there was a lot of people they didn't know. And so Jill Pageant and Leslie Morris said, well, go ahead and feed them in the entryways. So I call it the gauntlet of food. So we hold the doors open for them, and as they walk by, we hand them food. And I tell every volunteer that they're very important, because maybe the person that walks by me isn't going to connect with me, but they look at the next person, maybe not, but then the third person, if they're hungry, that stigma of taking food when they're hungry is gone, and they feel comfortable taking from that person. So that's why it's so important that we have such a variety of people to help serve the kids that they can relate to. It's a wonderful start to the day. Just think if you went to work and people met you at the door, offered you food, said good morning, that would start your week off in a more positive note.
We've had many teachers thank us for being here, because they said they see a difference in what goes on in the classroom, especially the first and second hour classes. We've seen them become more friendly. They say thank you. They smile and will say hello or good morning as we say good morning to them. Not all of them, but so many more than when we first started. And so we see that as definitely making a difference.
We had one volunteer who, a young girl had come in, and she was wearing her hoodie and she was all closed up. And the volunteer said, I'm gonna talk to her. And so every Monday she would try a little bit and a little bit more. And eventually that young lady came in, her hoodie was off, she was coming in, she was showing this volunteer her phone, see, my sister just got married or something like that. So to that person, that really mattered to that person.
This has been a really important partnership to help support relationships between our students and police officers in the community. Our students are now approaching officers and developing some really meaningful and great relationships with some influential and supportive adults in the community.
Sergeant Lori's awesome. She just has a lot of energy, and she cares so deeply about these kids. And she's here Monday morning early and always has a smile on her face.
So many community volunteers have just rallied around her and support her. She's a very awesome police officer and an awesome woman.
Thank you for just being willing to grow with us and continue to provide this service for our students.
When we first started, we served 64 kids. Today, we serve 728. The highest number of students we served was 1,111. So the thing is that we're seeing so much more civility from them, just more of a connection. And if you make people feel like they're part of something bigger, that they also feel committed to that as well. And usually crime goes down. And as a matter of fact, I pulled crime stats. This year, we have not, in the East High attendance area, because we're only serving East High for this program, we had 0 arrests on Mondays. That's huge.